What is happening, everyone? Hope we are well. Welcome in the chat, everyone. Kashay, sorry. Alan's in the chat already. Social, as always. Thanks for the message earlier on Twitter as well. Social. Well, people. Well, what can we say? And you know what? There's going to be a lot of people with many different opinions, with a lot of things to say about this appointment with Conte. It has to be spoken about. It has to be spoken about. And we need to get balance as always. So make sure whatever you've got on your mind, whatever you want to say, make sure you put it in the chat. Whether we agree or whether we don't agree, it's good for us to have a great debate on what we think moving forward. Bit of news with what's going on in Arsenal. Not much. This Saliba wants to... how can I put it? Saying that he wants to come back. I'm not too sure about that, etc. But that's the only Arsenal news at the moment. And you know I like to touch on as much news as possible, especially the big stories. So Thomas saying, no, it's Tottenham. We need to speak about all the good and the bad that happens in football. And today is good for the Premier League, good for Tottenham, but I'm not sure it's good for many other clubs. But we're not sure how that's going to work out. So we will dive into it. If you've not already, make sure you check out. I put the Green Mind video up earlier today on Green Mind. So make sure you go and check that out. Already got a few comments, Brandon, etc. social saying really helped them for the beginning of the week. So make sure you go and check out the personal channel. I'll get the little Swansea vlog up from the weekend. Very short, me commentating for the BBC for the Peterborough game. Peterborough have got a game tonight, so I hope that they win against Huddersfield. And... you will see me later on when we do a live watch along. So busy people, busy, and that's what we're all about. I see a lot of you have been in Curtis's chat. I've just seen a few of you that were looking at Football Terrace. Lee Gunner was on there going on. He's getting loads of stick as he normally does. But let's go and talk about this as a whole, as a community, because I want to know what your thoughts are. I don't want it to come across as negative. I want it to come across as a mature adult debate, which our community 99.9% of the time does do that, which is good. Darren D's in the building. Curb Glass 123. Martin's in the building. Mooner's in the building. Tom, Brandon, as always, etc. So let's just have a couple of look at a few of the comments before we start getting into this. Moon is saying we Conte allow Spurs to go ahead of us. Well, you see, the thing is, and then I'm going to put something out. I'm going to put something out there. Spurs have finished above us for about 4 or last 5 seasons. I think people are forgetting that. Spurs have finished above us for half a decade. So this is concerning. Because if they finished above us with the bad seasons that they've had, and now they've got he's an elite coach. Let's be honest, he's elite coach. There's a lot of salt out there. There's a lot of salty people, but he's an elite coach. So if they finished above us 4 or 5 seasons in a row, or whatever it may be, and they're in a crisis, 2 points or whatever it is behind us, they've gone and got Conte. That kind of slightly worries me. And I'm not going to be ignorant to say that it don't. Mourinho, when they got Mourinho, it worried me. Didn't end great, but still finished above us. So forever why someone is finishing above us, that tells me that they're better than me. That's just the way of life. So it's interesting. We'll get into it. Darren, but so why couldn't Arsenal have gone for him? It seems he was just waiting for an offer from whoever. Good point. All the points that we will cover. Conte doesn't scare me. When he chucks Moody, it's all over. I do believe he won't be there for long, but that's what he is. The best managers tend to be like that. They don't stay around for long because they upset too many people. That's why. So Mike's put, Tottenham have got a good squad. They just need a great leader to lead them properly. If these players, I put it on my Twitter the other day, earlier today, if these players respond to him, they could finish top 4. Very much so. Buenos Aires, hola, as usual. Tony sees, but even everyone, Conte gone to Spurs must need the money. Why didn't he take the job at the start of the season if he wanted to? Spurs will go all Spursy. It doesn't matter the manager. Plus, only a short-term deal tells you everything you need. I believe the 18-month contract was a mutual agreement because Conte didn't want to stay around for too long. I think it was on his terms, to be honest. What I've heard, Don't quote me on that, but this is what I've heard. 18-month contract. He's probably waiting for the Newcastle job. Surprised by 18 months. Now, the 18 months apparently was on his terms. He's getting 20 million as well, which is unbelievable. I'm salty, mind me, Fran. Laugh aloud. It hurts the way, but we have to stay positive. Smash the like button, people, as always. And 2021 content. I hope you're well. Not seen you in for a few days. And I hope you are well and the family is well. So, like I said, not much going on in and around when it comes to Arsenal at the moment. We are on this run. I did state Emre went on a double better run than what we are on at the moment. We've seen it many times. Football is about where you end up. Where you end is football. Some people will say it's the journey. That's more about life. Football is where you end up. Simple as. If it's a rubbish journey along the way, but you finished higher than everyone else, then it's a good journey in the end. So that's the big thing that I think people are kind of overlooking. Unfortunately, can't stay. Respect people. Big up Curve Glass. Hope you well. Thanks for popping in and hitting that like. Machine's put not worried about Conte at Spuds, more worried about Emre at Newcastle. Okay. And we'll touch on Emre. So a lot of you are saying that it's mixed. It's a mixed bag. Some are saying that you're slightly concerned, worried. Some of you saying you're not bothered because the Spurs players will let this manager down just like they've let every other manager down that they've had. So I get it. But I think if you're honest and you really sit down and you're honest with yourself, you must be thinking, wait a minute, if they finished 5 seasons in a row above us and there's a so-called crisis and they've gone for an elite coach, let's not make no mistake about it. It's an elite coach, okay? And they're only 2 points or whatever it is behind us. When people keep saying we're the bigger club, we're this, we're that, they haven't won anything, blah, blah. I'm very much, listen, history is history settings. It's all about what's going on now. I mean, I'm from Nottingham. And Nottingham Forest lived on the fact that they won the Champions League, the equivalent, 2 years on the spin. Not many people have done that. They still talk about it now. You go into a Nottingham pub and you get one of the old fellas and he'll be still talking about that now. And he's forgot what's happened the last 30 years or whatever since. I believe that that's what we do, cover up as a fan base at times. To try and make it feel, but when you make excuses in your own personal life you kind of justify things that are not quite great, but for justify it makes it seem a little bit better. That's all I hear at the moment. No one cares about history when it comes to football. Players are forgotten about 6 months, 2 years down the line. Managers are forgotten about 2-3 months down the line, and teams are. We got to be competing with the best. And Spurs have finished above us, and I'm going to say it again because I think people have forgot, 4 or 5 seasons in a row above us. And people are saying that they're not concerned. Well, I'm telling you straight now, I'm concerned. Because forever while they're finishing above us, that's not good. That's not good. Because I tell you that now, when Spurs are finishing above you, you're not finishing in the top 4 or 5. Because Spurs tend to be around 4, 5, 2 to 5, 2 to 5, 2 to 6 in the last 4 or 5 seasons. So if Spurs are finishing above you, you finish outside the top 6. Is that fine? What, for the 6th season in a row? And nobody's concerned? I think we need to look at it and have a word with ourselves and maybe have a look in the mirror and say, am I truly being honest or am I being a bit salty with actually what is going on? Few of the comments, let's have a look. Drew said, I'm not bothered one bit about Conte at Spurs. He won't be there for long and he will eventually clash with Leave. Listen, like you say, I tweeted earlier, there's never no guarantees in football. Never, okay? Never no guarantees in football. However, I tell you what is guaranteed. If these players follow instructions and click with Conte, they finish top 4. They finish top 4. He gets top 4 with these players if it clicks. Because the first thing he'll be doing, he'll be going in there, he'll get Harry Kane on side. Do not be surprised if Harry Kane scores the first goal. Do not be surprised if Harry Kane scores in the first game, Harry Kane scores, Son's all of a sudden, and these players for like Dele Alli making third man runs, etc. Do not be surprised because he is an elite manager. And it's not very often elite managers fail. Now, someone would say, but Jose only failed because of some circumstances, what was going on. This kid was top of the league, and then all of a sudden it just went crashing. For whatever reason, something went wrong. We don't know why, what happened. But again, Mourinho was towards the end of his eliteness. I think that Conte's bang smack in the middle, in my opinion. Big up Trevor Francis Moon is saying, the big first £1 million player. Chris, I'm not sure Conte going to Tottenham is a good move for him. If he doesn't succeed, it will ruin his reputation. He might regret it. Very good point. I think he was waiting for the Man United job. And now Man United all of a sudden have got a problem as well. Ollie's got a big problem. It's funny how things changed. 2 days ago, Ollie was probably smiling. Now he's thinking, I've just kept myself in a job, but now the pressure's on even more. I don't care where Spuds are in the league. My rivals are United and Liverpool. Okay, fair enough. But they'll finish above us as well. Probably. It is true they have been better in recent years. Yes, Ronaldo is now a Tottenham legend. But they still Spurs and they are crap. Yeah, but they finish above us every season. So if they're crap, what are we? What are we? As Fran would say, football can change overnight. Football changes massively overnight. So people, right then, I'm going to bring this up because you've probably already seen. In fact, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring it up because you've already seen it. Tottenham appoint former Chelsea Inter Milan boss Conte as their new manager until, 2023, 18 months. They sacked Nuno, as we know. He's extremely happy to return to coaching and to do it at the Premier League club that has the ambition. The ambition. Big word there, people. Ambition. That's the difference between Arsenal and Spurs, and that's the difference between Man United and Spurs at the moment. Ambition. Ambition, over time, normally finishes highly, wherever it may be. The Italian returns to London after winning the Premier League in his first season at Chelsea, 16-17, and the FA Cup in his second. I mean, if he does that again, I can't see him winning the league with Tottenham, that's for sure. But you never know. He led Inter, obviously their first title in 11 years. He's an impact coach. He's an elite impact coach. He'll come in, he'll get people working hard, he'll get them playing well. He's an instant manager who wants them. And the reason probably 18 months is the fact that I've heard that he didn't want to commit to any longer than that. They had to pay him big bucks for that 18 months. And then he would assess where they are after the 18 months. If the relationship with Levy goes as planned. I believe that was part of the agreement. Last summer, our union did not happen because you talk about last summer. Last summer, our union did not happen because the end of my relationship with Inter was still too recent and emotionally too involved with the end of the season. So I felt that it wasn't yet the right time to return to coaching. Wonder if he's telling the truth there. But the contagious enthusiasm and determination of Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy in wanting to entrust me with this task had already hit the mark. Now that opportunity has returned, I have chosen to take it with great conviction. Conte's first game will be at home against Stuttgart Vitesse Arnhem, which though I think they lost the first leg, so we will sure. His track record speaks for itself, etc. By the way, so scores a lot of goals. His team score goals. There's this conception that his team is very defensive. His teams score goals. Nearly all of his teams that have done well have been in the high figures when they've been scoring goals. Just don't think the brand of football is the most entertaining at times, but they score goals and they win things. So it's interesting. He's going to have to hit the ground running very, very hard. 18 months. Apparently, it was agreed by both. He didn't want any more, which is very, very interesting. Because, like Chris was saying earlier, it may damage his reputation. So, welcome everyone, the new ones in the chat. Machine is saying Conte is waffling. Darren D is saying, is that what's the case? Then why go to the table first time round? It's interesting why I didn't go for the first one. It's definitely something broke down early on. But you know what? I've got a big shout out to, listen, I don't know Daniel Levy personally, so I don't really speak about a lot of people that I don't know personally. I just give my opinion. Apparently, he's really very, very hard to work with. I've never had to deal with him, so I wouldn't know. especially when it was in the agent game. I know a couple of my colleagues had to deal with him, but I never had to deal with him. He's a very, very shrewd businessman. He's very, very, hard-faced, straight down the middle, and rubs a lot of people up the wrong way. And I imagine that's what happened with Conte. What I respect him for, he's walking back with his tail between his legs and approaching the same situation again. I think Spurs fans should be giving Levy a little bit of a pat on the back for going out and trying to make something happen. He sends a good sign out to the Arsenal Spurs fans. It sends a massive sign out to the rest of the Premier League and the Spurs players that we don't want mediocre. We want to try and compete with the best. He's not going to need much more than 100, 150 million for that squad, I don't think. And in January, he'll probably bring 2 or 3 recruits in. So, listen, just like when they got Mourinho, a lot of people were happy at the time. He started off quite well, and then he ended in tears. But that's football. Football changes very, very quickly. So when a manager might have a 2-year deal or 18-month deal, football can change quickly. Look at Nuno. The kid lasted 4 months. Got a nice little paycheck, I'm sure, but the kid lasted 4 months. So it's just something for me that I think he'll go in and he will completely change the way that Spurs play. I think you're going to see a completely different Spurs now. You're going to see players with an extra 5-10 yards, etc., etc. And how does that then affect other clubs? Tell me in the chat, people, before I get into it, because, I don't want to be going on and not bringing you in. Does it affect Arsenal? Does it affect Man United? And be honest. Don't be biased. Be honest and think to yourself, do you see it affecting West Ham, Leicester, Man United, and Arsenal? Will they finish above those 4? Because if they do, then it'll probably be what? 4th, maybe even 3rd or 4th. What do you think? Come on. Honestly, does it bother you? And should other clubs be worried? Should other clubs be worried? Who remembers finishing 5th or 4th or 6th? Fans remember cups and trophies. They do. But the reality is, Chris, if someone finishes higher than you in the league, they are doing better than you. Can only live on trophies for so long. Can only live on trophies for so long. I mean, Wigan won the FA Cup. They're not going to turn around and say, we won the FA Cup. Fans aren't bothered that they won the FA Cup. I'm damn right not bothered who win what cup. I don't care. And I'm going to be honest with you. I want to finish as high as possible in that league. And I want to win the league. If I get a trophy along the way, good. But my bread and butter is the league. That's my bread and butter. That's where I'm getting judged. Because to win a competition, a lot of it, easy route, 5 games. To win a league, 40 games. So I want to finish above as high as possible. And Spurs have finished above us for 4 seasons on a spin, maybe 5. So as Arsenal fans, we need to chirp the hell down, I think. That's what I believe. That's the way I look at things. That's a disgrace that Tottenham senior players got him sacked. Hey, listen, players always get managers sacked. Trust me, always. Nuno got 14 million for 4 months. Not bad. The league is 10 times more competitive than it was when he won it with Chelsea. He won't even make top 3 at Spurs. I mean, you say you won't even make top 3. Top 3 is a great achievement for Spurs. Like you say, they finished the 2nd, I believe, once, and then they finished the 3rd with Pochettino or whatever it may be. So if they finish 3rd in his first season, that would be, because realistically, whoever finishes above Chelsea and Man City, I wouldn't say it's a miracle, but, Liverpool are going to be up there. But I still don't think Liverpool will win the league. I still think it'll either be a Chelsea or a Man City. You could be wrong, but I actually think the Premier League is easier now than when he won the Premier League. I think the quality of players is a lot poorer. I think the intensity is a lot lower. I actually think the Premier League is poorer. Hence, the players are poorer. So, it kind of balances itself out. Will he get 3rd? I don't know. Will he get top 4? It's hard to tell. However, if these players click, with him, he finishes top 4. He finishes top 4, but it's all down to the players. If they don't respond, because they're very weak, they're a little bit wrapped in cotton wool mummy's boys, this Spurs team. So they could just go in the corner and cry facing the wall. Depends how they respond. Mashane is saying he doesn't think it concerns any other club. I think it massively concerns other clubs. I think to look beyond it is this. He is an elite manager with a winning mentality, with a winning pedigree, with substance, with everything. How can we not be concerned? Worried is a different thing. I think worry is a completely different thing. Worry is probably the wrong word, but are you looking over your shoulder? You know, I think maybe. Listen, everyone looks at things in a very, very different way. But me personally, I am keeping an eye on Spurs because I believe now that they will finish above us. I hope I'm wrong. Believe me, I'm not one of these people that wants to be right about when I'm being real, and I don't really want to be real, but I've got to be real. I think Spurs finish above us again. And then what do we say next year? They've not won a trophy. For me, if someone's doing better than me, I keep my mouth shut when it comes to football. Whether it was in business, whatever. That's it. I think Spurs team are finished and Conte isn't staying long enough as things stand. Listen, I think he'll be at least there for 12 months. More competition, but just focus on your own results. 100%, you've just got to focus on this. I'm not saying that we have to be focusing on other teams, but that's the aim of the game. Every manager, coach, player will tell you that they check what other teams, other players are doing. You have to do that. You have to be very, very knowledgeable and within what's going on in your business for you to make sure that you can stay ahead of the curve. This is a big statement to other clubs that we're not staying ahead of the curve, you know? At Atlanta tonight, yeah, I'm not going to make this one a long one. We're probably going to be about 40 minutes, something like that, because then we're going to do the watch along later on. Interesting if Man United lose. Man United, listen, they got kind of first off beat up at home. Johan said before Conte will make Arsenal a top 4 club now. Conte is overrated and will struggle. I mean, how do you say he's overrated, Johan? In what way is he overrated? He's an elite manager. Like, where's he overrated? He's just turned Serie A upside down. He won the FA Cup and the Premier League within 18 months. Like, how on earth is that overrated? I agree, the league and then the Champions League, that's it. I mean, I hear some people saying they'd rather win the Champions League than win the Premier League. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I don't understand that. To walk around with it, we've won the Champions League, but you're not the best in your own backyard. I don't get that. I really, really don't get that. Arsenal are going to beat United, but Tottenham will beat them in the league. Winning the FA Cup is a big deal for me. The FA Cup was a big deal when I was young. Plus, it gets into Europe. Listen, like you say, everyone has different things that they find a lot more important than other things. Like you say, I like the FA Cup. I think it's memories, but I've seen so many average clubs win it. I just think it's good for English history. But outside England, I don't think no one cares. Hi, I'm Spurs Korean fan. Big up to the Spurs fan in the chat. Listen, we do mainly Arsenal. However, I always cover as much football as possible. Big shout out to Korean fan in the building. Make sure you say hello, everyone. And make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Really do appreciate everyone from each and every club. We've got Chelsea in here. We have Villa. We've got Man United. We've got Man City at times. So very, very good. A lot of people. Let me catch up with your chats, people. Let me catch up with your chats. FA Cup is still a big trophy. It's a big trophy. I'm not denying it's not a big trophy, of course. Third is just the second loser. Yeah, third. Listen. Would you rather finish 3rd or 8th? You know me. Number 1 or nothing. but I'd rather 3 than 8th or 3 than 4. The only issue with Conte is another Mourinho. It's much faster and easier for him to lose a locker room. I do believe there may be an issue with modern day players really struggle. Modern day players struggle with reality and old school managers. That's why I would probably fall out with players left, right, and center. You've seen how I speak about them on the stream. I would literally make people cry in a dressing room. So it wouldn't be wise for me to be a manager. They'd probably go home and cry to their wives or even their mums and dads, and some of them are that soft. So I do think that he has to maybe approach it in a different way. Italian football is very different, seems to be made of sterner stuff. But yeah, we will see. They have the best 1-2 attack in the league. He's getting a ready contender. Spurs squad. I've got many managers sacked. Not sure want to work that's needed. I also do believe, though, there is a concern that you made a good point, Darren, about the same players are getting managers sacked. So something in the mindset of those players, there may be there's too much influence in that dressing room, and they gang up against the manager. And they've done it to Mourinho, they've done it to many. So it's interesting how they do it to Conte, because Conte will. Do not be surprised if Conte is in the headlines for going nuts or saying he don't want nothing to do with this club and walking away because of the players. You know, you can win Champions League by luck of the draw sometimes. Yeah, I mean, competitions are luck of the draw. You've seen with like England with the Euros and the World Cup, the teams that you play, etc., and things like that. So you're saying an underrated trait of Conte is his ability to improve players. Made Victor Moses look like a baller and turned Lukaku into a tank. I mean, listen, he's an elite manager. And for me, whether you like his style or play or not, I want to win. I think football is maybe looked at different now. I think people look at it as something to get entertained on a Saturday afternoon and look beyond winning, if you know what I mean. I want to win. Spurs have to try best in the winter transfer. 100%. They need to do something in the January transfer. I only think they probably need 100 or 150 million. West Ham, Wolves, Leicester, Everton, Villa, Arsenal, Spurs, all fighting for top 6. It's very close. It's very close. And you know what? No one's guaranteed any of them. Like, probably is going to be the top 3. But outside the top 3, realistically, it could be any way, shape, or form. So every one of those teams has got a chance. Arsenal are in a good form. They're going to have a dip. It just depends on how long that dip lasts, like every club, and also what the other clubs do within that time of Arsenal having a dip. You want other clubs to have a dip, that's for sure. I don't believe in Spuds, but I believe in Conte. Let Kane go. Song played better with Kane wasn't near. All of a sudden, you'll see a completely different Harry Kane. You'll see a different Harry Kane now. Very, very different. League maybe less competitive, but it's surely a lot close now. I believe so. Socials put silly because our fans were demanding us to sign Conte, basically saying it is the best option out there. Now say they're not worried. Jokes aside, he's a great manager, but he wants things his way. Listen, in my opinion, the Arsenal fans that were all begging for Conte, and there was 90%. Some will now turn around and say they wasn't, are now saying that they're not worried or they're not bothered about Conte because we've not got him. Come on, that's the reality. That's the reality. There's been a lot of that around Twitter. There's been a lot of that on YouTube. I think people find it very, very hard to just have an open growth mindset and just say, you know what, we wanted him at Arsenal. Not everybody. I'll say, I'm not speaking for we then. I won't speak for everyone. I wanted him at Arsenal and it didn't happen. I'm not bitter. Because I think we're on a different path. One, it's showing that they want a simple fix now and they want to get it done and they want to compete with the top 4. And the other one is we'll build and we may compete later on. If we compete earlier, great. But that's why we don't even have any targets. So I'm not bitter at all. Am I concerned? And do I think they'll finish above us? Yes, I do. And I don't want teams to finish above us. That's how I look at it. It's very simple. There's no other narrative towards it, you know. An underrated. Oh, I've seen that one. Sorry. The club is judged on its success, like winning leagues and trophies, not finishing above Arsenal. Well, let's put it this way. Here's a question for you then, Tuco. You finish 8th for 10 years. Spurs finish 2nd for 10 years, but don't win anything. Who's doing better? I think that's an obvious answer. So how are you judging them? How would you judge them? What would you judge there? No one wins anything. One finishes 2nd, one finishes 8th for 10 years on the spin. Would you still say that? Because we're halfway there, by the way. We're halfway there. So in 20 years, or say another 10 years, how long would that have been before we won anything, except for the FA Cup? To me, I think it's an excuse. I judge Arsenal from August to May. Then the next season, I judge them from August to May. And I do that every single season. And each season, I pray that they finish as high as possible in the league, and I pray that they win a trophy. I don't care what happened 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. I don't care. I don't care about last Saturday. I don't. Because I want to know what they're going to do this Saturday. And when this Saturday's gone, I don't care about this Saturday. Because football changes very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. So you need to be with what's going on. We can't be turning around saying, well, we're my day. And I should say that because I'm probably one of the oldest here. No one cares. No one cares. If someone finishes you higher in a position than what you are, that means that they are better than you. That's the reality, people. And to get out of that by saying, well, you ain't won no trophy. It's like when people try and compare players and they say, oh, well, he never won anything. Doesn't make that, it doesn't say that he's not a better player. I seen this thing today. What did I see today? That Drogba is best African player was better than Salah. And I'm thinking, well, what, on what argument? And people saying this, and I said, wait, they're both. One's a proper striker, one's a forward, right? So you're judging them. You're going to judge them on goals because that's what you judge them on. Strikers, reality. That's what you judge them on. Salah's got the same amount of goals in half the games, so Salah is the better player. You know, I just don't get the history settings. I'm not a massive fan of the history settings. Just not. I think it's maybe excuses. I'm just not sure. I don't like to live in. I don't know. There's just something about history settings. I'm not a massive fan of history settings. Listen, I'm not saying that it's wrong to have because everyone's a complete individual and they'll see it how they are. I get that. But yeah, I'm not a fan of history in anything. Don't really speak about anything in history. Unless we come up in conversation, obviously. Sorry, I missed quite a few. Arteta won the FA Cup within a few months of becoming manager. The key is how many small clubs in trouble has Conte won with. Listen, there's always an argument, right, when certain things come that way. Arteta's journey, or Arteta's, how can I put it? Most of the FA Cup was already won before Arteta had to get where he needed to get to. But fair play to him, he won it. I get it. He won it, right? But there's no way Arteta is a better coach or a better manager than Conte. No way. Like, zero chance. Will he be? I hope he does. And maybe he does. But there's no way. There's no way, in my opinion, that he is nowhere near because he doesn't have the experience. I just think, from my point of view, I'm very open-minded, as you know. I don't like to be biased when, I'm pissing against the wind. I've got to be real. They've just hired an elite manager who has won the Prem, and they're our rivals. Now, some people don't say they're our rivals. They always will be our rivals, let's be honest. So it bothers me, the fact that they are showing more ambition than what we are. And if they finish above us, it's another kick in the teeth. That's just how I'm looking at it. That's how S-Way. Oh, thanks ever so much, S-Way, with a big super chat. He's saying football is about winning trophies, not finishing top four. That's just a marketing scheme by Sky to make the league look more competitive than it is. And I get that point. I do get that point, that winning trophies. But my point is, if you win the FA Cup and finish 8th, 9th, 10th, people just laugh at that. People laugh at that. When Wigan won the FA Cup and got relegated, if you would have asked the Wigan chairman, would you give up the FA Cup for staying in the Premier League? He would have said yes, 100 million %, because being in the Premier League and finish as high as you can in the Premier League is more important. Now, it may not be to fans. It may not be to fans. But to players, I bet you bottom dollar, finishing and playing in the Champions League is more intriguing and more interested than winning the FA Cup. Players would rather play in the Champions League than win an FA Cup. Now, don't get me wrong, there's routes into Europe, as you know, by FA Cup. But I just think it depends on you as an individual. So no one is right or wrong, S-Wade. And no one is right or wrong. It all boils down to the individuals. Like Chris has very different beliefs and emotions towards the FA Cup and certain things, just as maybe Owace or maybe Machine or maybe Craig has different. And that's the beauty of the game, beauty of the community, and beauty of these streams, because we can help each other. And it's nice for me to see that other people look at things very, very differently. And I think that's the good thing about that. But big shout out for the super chat. Much appreciated. And blessings to you and the family, S-Way. Big blessings to you and the family. Appreciate that. Jack in the building has put Drogba's greatest clutch striker I've ever seen. Chelsea clutch, but Salah's production is what it is. Same reason Fat Frankie's better than Stevie G. With the current squad, I feel it's not realistic. It's about trophies. Machine is saying. Tony's in the building. He's saying you and Curtis are funny. We tried to just make it a certain way, you know. We don't want to offend anyone. That's, I think, the best way. Arteta wasn't even good as Conte as a player. Big up family community. Just got home. Better late than never. Big shout out to Craig. Machine, I agree, for Arsenal isn't acceptable to finish lower than first. FN has put they have a different plan to us, Fran. Very true. We are going a different route with our youth, and for that they have to hire a long-term manager, not a short-term fixer, who undoubtedly is world-class. And I fully agree. Fully agree. And that is the reality. That's the reality, and you've said it perfectly in that comment. They are completely different route to what we're going. You know, the destination, I imagine, is still the same. Try and finish as high as possible, but they're going for different routes. And I fully get that. Really do. Machine is put, however, understand that Arsenal are building and we won't win the league soon. Very true. Rob is in the building. He's put, I ain't going to look back at the end of my career and remember finishing fourth, but I would remember the FA Cup win. Listen, fourth and the FA Cup, I get. But if you used to get in Europe and then you've got a chance of playing in Europe against some of the best or the FA Cup, me as a player, I would rather play in the Champions League than, what's going on with the camera? It's moved a little bit. I would rather play in the Champions League against and try and get far in the Champions League than win the FA Cup. Some players would agree, some players wouldn't, some fans would agree, some fans wouldn't. It's all personal preference. I want Arsenal dominating the English Premier League and Europe. Conte is ruthless and doesn't take no prisoners. SK is saying, what do you expect from Arsenal in upcoming Liverpool away? For me, I just want them to be optimistic and play with some intensity like Villa. I mean, that's a tricky game. I mean, you're playing against one of the deadliest counter-attacking or attacking teams in the Premier League, if not the deadliest when they're on song. But we're on a good run. We're gonna have Watford. We've got a little break, and then we will take it from there. So I think it all depends on how we set up. If Arteta gets it right, we could cause a problem. I said, listen, we would get a minimum point against Leicester. I did believe in us against them, and that was true. We went and got a good win. Ramsdale, again, a little bit concerning that Ramsdale is man of the match. But we will see. We will see. What else is in? Eswed is saying Chelsea signed Conte without any European football. It's more about the salaries a club can offer, in my opinion. Players don't really mind for the most part. Money definitely talks, that's for sure. If you can replace Arteta with Potter tomorrow, would you do it? 100%. 100%. And the reason is, I'm going to say the reason is, Potter's brand of football is a lot better than Arsenal's with Arteta's brand of football. And I like to see good football. But at the moment, Arteta's getting results. So obviously, right this minute, would you change it because he's getting results? These players are just getting used to him. So it's questionable. I think, like you say, it's questionable. But if I could change it, I would. Yeah, I would. And it's not to say that Arteta is not doing a good job, because I think he's doing a good job at the moment. I would just like to see a different brand of football. I actually think we're quite boring at times. But we're getting results, and you can't complain when you're winning. You should never really complain when you're winning. How you get better is look at where the faults when you're winning. That's a fact. That's how you get better. But we will see. And quickly, we'll just touch on, obviously, FN has put Fran thoughts on Emre to Newcastle. Well, listen, he's got the pedigree, to be doing really, really good in Europe. He did well at Arsenal. It didn't end too well, but he did well at stages in his Arsenal managerial career. He went on that crazy run, like I said, from like 20 games or whatever it was. And it's a huge opportunity for any manager to be going into Newcastle, because they're going to say this is a 5-year plan. Whoever's going to go there is going to sign like a 4-year deal. And they're going to say, listen, you can bring your own staff in. You can bring your own personnel, as in like the players you want to go for. We're not going to get involved in that sense. These are the budget for each year. Financial fair play for 3 years is going to be off the cards. It's a very, very, very appealing job. And I think a lot of managers would want that. Is Emre the right man? It's a tough job. And you know what? I don't think anyone can pinpoint who would be the right man. Because it's a task. It's a tough, old, long task. So I'm not even sure what type of manager you would go for. I think that's a tough appointment. I really do. But fair play if he goes for it. Fair play if he gets it. And like you say, even though money's money, it's going to be quite hard to get players to go to the Northeast. It's very cold and a bit dull at times outside of Newcastle, to be honest. But if the money's right, the project's right, and they can't really go for the top players. They're going to have to go for a few players who have been top and maybe coming towards the end of the career for a bit of experience, and then gamble on some youth players that maybe a Chelsea, a Man United, a Liverpool, a Arsenal, a Spurs or whatever, a Bayern are looking at, who's like 19 maybe, but then they're not really pulled the trigger, and Newcastle go in and offer them just that little bit more and try and get 3 or 4 top 20, 21-year-olds, and you'll be flying then. You'll be flying. That's probably how I would do it. And I'd get probably 4 experienced pros who have been elite coming towards the end, but are very, very good leaders. Yeah. Could you see Lacazette and Xhaka? They're the types of players, the experienced ones that you would bring in. Lacazette, Xhaka, go for a Coutinho, give him a 2-year. Tony Cruz was mentioned. You get 5 of them big hitters and some kids. All of a sudden, you've got a team. So very, very interesting to see what goes on there. Very, very interesting. Right, people. As always, great community. I am going to do a watch along later on, and let's see what Man United can pull out of the hat. Now the pressure is off Ollie. Well, he thinks that the pressure is off him. The fans will be going crazy now that Conte has gone to Spurs. But we're going to do a watch along later on. Again, as always, great input in the comments, in the community. Very, very good people's opinions. Everyone respecting each other's opinions and trying to dress in a balance. Honestly, unbelievable. Peterborough got a win tonight. Peterborough have to win tonight because they're just not picking points up away from home. They are at home. So let's hope that Peterborough get a win. Let's hope that Man United get beat. Sorry for the Man United fans that are in here. I'm going to put the little one bath and bed. Thanks for the super chat, S. Wade. Great support as always. And hopefully I will see you later on in the watch along. Okay. If not, take care and I will see you all tomorrow. Okay. See you later.